Hi everybody, 4Gun Guy here. And I thought I'd do a quick video, I don't know if it's going to be that quick, but a video on shooting bags because, you know, in 3-gun, you don't really use bags that much, if at all. And then you get into this long range stuff and all of a sudden bags become really important. There's different bags to use for different types, for different situations, the type of obstacle or the platform that you're shooting off of. So let's look at how to use bags on different stages. And the 4 bags I'm going to focus on here today are, number 1 is what's called the tack pad. And these are all WeBad bags. I just like WeBad. They don't sponsor me or anything. I just like their product. So this is the tack pad. This is the bag that I wear over my shoulder, and this helps me stabilize my arm when I'm shooting. So this goes over like this, and then it's always on. So when I get to the match, I put this on, I never take it off, not for any stage. That way it's always with me, and I'm very comfortable with how it feels and helps stabilize my arm. The next bag is their fortune cookie bag, and this is a bigger bag. It's a pretty good sized bag. It's not light, but it's not super heavy. It's got some tackiness on the bottom. I did put some wax on this. I waxed this bag and I use this, it's called bull hide fabric care. This is canvas wax. And basically I got that on Amazon for, I don't know, 14 bucks, something like that. Rub it on the bag, take a heat gun or a hair dryer, and then you heat the wax into it. And it's worked pretty good. I used it the other day, the first time, and it really works good. It's a little tackiness to it, and I really like that. So that's the fortune cookie. And then really my all-around probably favorite bag, and the bag I use probably 80% of the time, is their fortune cookie Whiskey Charlie bag. This thing is fantastic. It's not the coarse canvas like this. It's like leather, soft leather. It's very tactile. It's got this nice base on the bottom of it, so when you put it around something, you can see how it just kind of forms around it. So it's soft, but it's very heavy. This bag is twice the weight of this bag, but I really like this. Again, I probably use this 80% of the time. And then there's one bag that's a very special bag, specialty bag, I should say, and that is this. It's called Milk Toast. And again, it's got a little stickiness to the bottom of it. And you know, this is one of those bags that you'll use maybe one time in the match for a very specific purpose, and you'll see that purpose when we get to that stage. So there you have it. I've got 4 bags. We're going to see when to use these, how to use these on different stages. Now, let me also say that you don't have to do what I'm showing you today. This is just how I do it, or some of the things I think about doing it just before I begin the stage. Sometimes you'll see that I'll use a bipod, but a lot of times I've started to try to get away from using a bipod. It's just a little too much to think about, and if you set your bags up properly and get to learn how to use them properly, then you don't need the bipod in a lot of stages. A lot of stages, or some stages, you definitely need a bipod, and you should not get rid of it. And you'll see what I'm talking about when we get into it. So let's get out to the range and we'll see how these bags work out. Let's get to it. Okay, so now we're in the prone position and I'm changing bags. So I'm going to go to my Whiskey Charlie because it's a little smaller. Now the thing to think about here is, get away from the gun, is the target is straight out there, and if I put my bag here, am I elevating? Do I have enough, right? Now the thing about this is, there it is. Right, I'm going to actually zoom out a little bit. I talk about this on another one. Make sure everything's set up to zoom out. Now I'm fine. Now notice what I'm doing here with this bag. I'm able to squeeze it to bring it up, and that's why I like this bag so much. And then I can let out a little bit let the gun settle in, on target. 1, 2, 3. The challenge is, if you had your bipod set higher, now you're trying to fight to get this even higher to compensate. So you want to make sure you've got your bipod set properly. Also, you want to be careful of, this is a 12-round mag, right? As I said earlier, does it have enough clearance, right? So again, I would get down into position. I'm down, I've got it, bringing that in, I'm on target, and impact. I'm on target. I can bring my hand back here, squeeze, impact. One more, squeeze, adjust, impact. So 3 shots within probably roughly 10 to 12 seconds. Bolt is back, mag is out. And why? Because I was able to adjust this with my hand. Notice my hand wasn't up here on the scope like it was on other stages. It was back here to adjust the height. So this is the prone position. It seems simple, but I'm telling you what, if you get that bipod messed up a little bit and too high, coming off a previous stage, for example, you're going to hit the deck here and you're going to run into problems. So make sure you check your bipod, bring the right bag, something you can easily adjust up and down like this, and you should be good to go. This was prone or a platform. Well, here we are at the stones, and this is just a set of stacked stones. There's 6 stones in all. And, you know, I used to use my bipod on this stage, and then one of the gentlemen that runs the tournaments out here stopped me one day and he said, you know, you're thinking too much with the tripod. And he was right. It's, you know, when you think about it, if I have this tripod exposed here, like this, it's not bad here, right? Here, you're okay. But it's when you move up to these other rocks that things start to get a little tricky. Now your rifle's canted, right? Now things start to get a little different, a little trickier. You have to figure out where to put your bag. You have to do a lot of different things and think about a lot of different things. So on his recommendation, I decided to try it without the bipod. And what I do is I go to the larger bag here. So we're going to do some dry shots here, and we're going to see the different positions to use just the bag and the rifle. We'll pick a target out there. I'm not going to actually shoot it. I may send a couple rounds down in a few minutes. But for right now, let's just dry fire and see how things might work. Let me readjust this camera. Okay, so generally what you'll do is you'll start here up to that level, up to the top, and then over to the other side. I'm not going to shoot the other side because it's about the same as these. So if I was going to shoot this, number one, what position do you want to get into? Well, here on this bottom stone, you can't really get on your knees. So what we're going to do is we're going to come down into this position, make sure our feet are flat out, bag here, and here's the other reason why I'm using this larger bag, right? It's higher, so it gives me a little more room for my magazine here. I can do this, I could set it like this, right? Which isn't bad. It allows me to get down without having to get way down, so that's a nice position for this bag. Then I'm down on the gun, I've got my target, and it's 1, 2, 3. Bolt open, and then we have to move up to this next level. On the next level, same thing, but what you want to think about is, look, I want to get in a comfortable kneeling position now, right? So this really does it for me. My gun is always aiming at the target as I transition. Now I'm up into this next setting. Now I can quickly come down onto the gun. 1, 2, 3, right? Now we're coming to the top. So as I come up to the top here, same thing. I want to find a position that's easy. Now, here's something that you're going to think about. The top of this is very rough, right? You can't see it. I'll show you it in a minute. Now, so here we are. Now you can see how rough the top of this rock is, right? Now what I've done is I put the bag up like I did at the bottom, right? Gun on the bag, loading the bag with the magazine, and now I can come down on the gun, make my own tripod. 1, 2, 3. Mag back, bolt out. The thing I want you to think about here is, look at these stages when you get to them. Think about how you're going to shoot them. What you don't want to do is get up here and lay this like this, put the gun on it, because watch. Now, if I had this off, that's a different story, right? Yeah, I usually do take it off, but I left it on. But let's say you leave it on. Now what am I doing? Well, I'm fighting this rock. So make sure that as you come up, you understand how you want to position things, always aiming at the target, and we're down on the gun, right? So this was the rocks. All right, well, this is pipes. So basically you can see it's just some stacked pipes. Some things to think about on a thing like this is, number one, the bipod, right? If you notice, I've got the bipod sitting in the grooves right here. That really helps stabilize it. The second thing to consider is how far back then, or how far forward or back does that bipod need to be on your rail? Well, you got to consider something over here, and that is your bolt, right? If I look at it this way, you don't want the bolt right up here, because then you're going to have that pipe interfering with your bolt. And I've done that before. I had the bipod too far back and my bolt was right up here and it was killing me. So make sure that you've got that position properly, and then you're going to use your bag on your grip to up, raise, and lower as needed. Now the other thing is, think about a stage like this, because once you get it set up for these two pipes, right? When you move up to these two pipes, you're already set up. You're fine. You're going to clear this upper pipe. You're going to have the proper bipod setting. So everything should be good. And then when we move up to the top here, we're simply going to place our bag up here and then lay the rifle on it. The bipod will be either outside of the bag. Well, it will be outside of the bag. So then that's how we'll shoot this. Let's go ahead and do a dry run here and see how that's going to look. Okay, and then the way we're going to shoot this is, load the gun, it's aiming at our target, bringing my bag up on my knees. I'm right on my target now. I see it. I can use this as I did in that other one. Fire, fire, up here. Bag, make sure I'm loaded up. I'm aiming at my target. I'm going to come up here. Again, this pipe is not going to interfere with my bolt operation. Shoot. Shoot. Then up at the top, coming up with the bag. Notice I brought everything up at once. Up at the bag, position on target, shoot, shoot, and that's it. And then you would do the other side. Now the other side, you don't have to worry about the this pipe interfering with your bolt. Unless you're a left-hander, then you're going to have the opposite challenge. When I looked at that, I wanted to do a little reverse angle here. So here we go, the gun is in, bag, I'm on target, and notice how I'm using the bag. I'm sliding the bag back along the pipe until I get to where my target is. Then I can hold it, fire. I'm putting pressure down on the rifle with my thumb. That's what, there's a little groove here at the top that works perfectly for that. So don't get worried about not having a proper position to hold that rifle. It's there, it's good. Then I'm gonna come up, same thing, bag in the grooves at the target. Here I am, using my bag as I can. I'm sliding down to the target. There it is. Again, and shoot, and shoot, right? And then at the top, you saw the top. So that's really what I'm doing there. You could bring this down even further, right? So I could bring this down even further, and now when I come down, it's a little better grip there. Now it's pretty standard, right? I've got my thumb on the thumb rest there. So depends on how you're going to situate this. My point is, try it different ways. So if you get into that situation, all of a sudden you're not going, oh, I'm not in the right position, now I have to readjust, right? Just try it different ways, because when that adrenaline flows, you're just going to do it. And if you're not familiar with, if you get down in there and you've got this bag too far forward and you go, oh, what do I do? The bag's too far forward, right? Then you're going to come in, you're going to fumble. Just make sure that you understand where you are, and there you are. You're done. Okay. Well, that's pipes, and yeah, it's a pretty tricky stage. Generally between 500 and 600 to 700 yards from this, so it can get real tricky real fast. So let's move on to the next one. Well, this is what we call a barricade. So as you can see, I've got my rifle set up right here. Generally, what you're going to want to do is get that rifle right up against this edge and stabilize it with that. That's what a lot of guys do. And then you're just going to move up. We generally don't shoot off the top, and then over to the next side. So it's generally 8 rounds, 2 shots from each of those positions. So let's get a little closer look at how I might stabilize that rifle. Okay, so here we are. Let's start with an empty mag, just for realism. And you're basically going to come down. I'm going to put this way over here. My scope is up against that, and I'm either on both feet like this. Zoom out here a little bit. And then we're down and shoot. We're down and shoot. Down and shoot, right? Then we're transitioning up. Grab your bag like this so it separates, so it opens up. Up here, gun at the target, down on the target, and then we're ready. Tripod, I'm making a tripod with my legs. I'm loading the gun into the bag. You can see the wall go forward. And there we go. That's basically that. Let's take some shots. Okay, so the target we're going to be shooting is just to the, on the right edge of that tree. The letter N is in November. You probably can't see it from the camera, but let's go ahead and see if we can do this. I've got my dope dialed in. I'm setting my bag, rifle pointed at the target. I'm down. I'm on the target now. Impact. impact, transitioning, up, bag is squeezed open, bag is up against the rail, rifle is up against the rail, pointing at the target, down on the target, round in, impact, impact. And there you go, bolt is back, mag is out. Now that target was only 400 yards downrange, so it wasn't like it was a super long range shot from here. Generally from here, that's about what we're shooting. Probably an 8-inch target at 400 yards, maybe down to 500 yards with a 10 or 12-inch target. But this is Barricade. And again, use what you can use to stabilize your rifle and yourself. And it's a pretty straightforward stage. Well, here we are at sticks. So as you can see, they're pretty much sticks. They're just posts in the ground. But here's one thing you want to notice. They're set at different angles. So you see, you're shooting downrange, but this post is set at a little cant. So you have to think about how you're going to set your bag on each one of these posts. The other thing is, like these first two posts look like 4x6. This post is a 6x6. Not that big of a deal, but it can sure introduce a little thought into how you're going to shoot these things. So let's back up, do a little dry fire here and see which bag we're going to use and how we're going to use it. Now, the bag I'm going to use for this is my Wee Bad Charlie whiskey bag, which is the bag I used on the Barricade. I like this bag. Again, it's small, it's heavy, it's not light. This thing weighs probably, I don't know, 8-10 pounds. But the thing I like about it is it grabs and it wraps around. So as you can see here, this out of the way, right? Mag is out. As I come down on this, I've got a good stable platform here that I can just come down on, come down on, come down on. We're usually shooting anywhere from 400 to 500 yards on sticks, and it's usually 2 shots per stick. There's 5 sticks. Sometimes it's 8 shots, and they say just shoot the first 4 or the last 4. But basically, you know, this is how this is set up. When I move to the next stick, right, rifle, make sure you grab that bag to open it up. I look at the stick as I go up to it, put the bag where I need it to be put, rifle on the bag, centered on the stick so you're not falling off the edges. And then I'm down in my position, loading the magazine into the bag, and we're off to the races. There we go. So sticks, pretty straightforward. It's a 1-bag thing. And of course, we always have our tack pad underneath our arm to stabilize our arm, and that's pretty straightforward sticks. Sometimes they will have us shoot rocks, which are the rocks in between the sticks, as you can see. And then for the rocks, we go back to the other rock, the stacked rocks that we shot. I would not use this bag. I would go get my Wee Bad fortune cookie, my large fortune cookie, and then here you're just down into your position, right, and on it like this. And then the different rocks, you've got to do different things. I only use a bag on the rocks. I do not use my bipod. So yeah, there's really 2 stages that you could shoot here at any given time. And I use a bag for both, but different bags. So again, think about what you have to shoot and the bag you need to use to shoot it. Let's go on to the, well, let's just go on to the next one. I'll surprise you with what that is. Well, we're inside the shoot house. So you can see there's a bunch of different holes or openings in the wall. Some of them, like number 11 down there, you'll have to go prone. Then we have big windows like there. And then you might start off over here with one of these 4. So let's just shoot 1, 2, 3, and 4. So for this, we're going to take our bipod off. We're going to use our Whiskey Charlie bag, our go-to bag, for most of these windows. But there's one window that we're going to need, that one little bag I showed you, the milk toast. That bag goes right into number 4 there. So talk about getting a bag for a very specific purpose. So basically what's going to happen here is, let's get my empty magazine out so we can be realistic. It's empty. When the buzzer starts, basically what I'm going to do is, if we have to start at 1, that bag goes there. The milk toast goes in here, so I don't have to worry about it. And down, gun is in. And again, remember what we said earlier, I can use this, I could use this side, whatever side you want to use to stabilize yourself. I'm on target, bolt is up, and I'm taking my shots, right? I'm loading the bag with the Barricade here. Then we're coming up, gun out, try to do this in one smooth motion. Bag is split apart so it can go here. Gun goes up, all in one motion, on target, bolt is down, target, target. And there we go. Then, if we're coming over to this window, you have a decision, right? You really don't want to come down here, your scope's going to get in the way here. So we'll come right about here, right? Load the gun towards the target. And now look what I'm doing. This hand is pushing that scope against this wooden slant, and now I have a very stable platform. Then I come down into the milk toast that's already been set up. I can go kneeling. I'm on target. Shot. Shot. There we go. Then from here, I don't need the milk toast anymore. So I would just grab this, splitting it apart, grab the gun, move down range, and now we're set right here. Same thing. I'm loading this into the side, and now we've got our target. Boom. Boom. And then you could keep going, whatever you have there. This is the shoot house. I will admit, this thing is my nemesis. This thing gets to me every time. And I don't know why. I don't think it's that complicated, but it just does. I tend to be in a hurry when I shoot this thing. So take your time, set up, know how you're gonna set up in something like this, and you should be fine. Another interesting one is the car. So it's just an old beat up car, and as you can see, we are usually shooting either off the hood here, which is uneven, off the roof, or off the trunk. We're usually shooting down range there, about 500 yards to the targets. So here's another one that you can either use just a bag and a tripod, or a bipod rather. So a different combination. So let's see how we might want to set up on this. All right, well, let's look at our first option. Option number one is to use a bipod. If you notice, I've really raised it up about 3 notches. And I've got my bag in the back here. I found a semi-flat spot in the hood. So again, think about where you're going to set up. Why do I like this as well? Well, it gives us our kneeling position that we really like to be in. It's an open area, so I'm not up here with all this other stuff that's getting in my way. And when I come down onto the rifle, I'm pretty set on the fact that I can again use my hand. Remember what we did before, right? We push this bag up and down to raise and lower the back of the gun. So now I'm coming down, I'm on target, down, shoot, down, shoot. What you're not seeing from that angle is I'm using the hood here for my elbow to rest on. So I even have another rest to stabilize and kind of give me a tripod on this gun, right, on the back of the gun. So this is a really good situation here. I'm happy with this. Now, if we have to transition to the hood or to the roof, let's see what that might look like. Generally what we do on this is it's either you shoot from the front and you shoot from the back. We rarely shoot from the hood of the car, or from the roof of the car. So let's look at the back next, then we'll look at the roof. How's that? Here we are on the trunk, and what you'll notice is I did not adjust my bipod. So you can see I'm aiming pretty high up. Now, you can do one of two things here. You can adjust your bipod as you make the transition over here. More things for you to think about, but you're probably gonna have to wait until you get here because you're gonna have this bag in your hand. You're not gonna be able to adjust the bipod. Or when I come down here, right, I can use the bag, as we've talked about before, and really get on this thing and lift this thing up. Now, this is tougher to do. So, one way you could adjust that bipod when you get here is not necessarily fool with adjusting these, but adjust the cant of the bipod, right? That gives you, whoops, there we go. So now I've got those legs out. I do it faster than that in reality. And now I am back down and adjusted to where I need to be on target, squeezing my bag on. The thing I like about this too is I can use the car for my elbow here. So I'm really digging into that, stabilizing. That's good. So there's a couple different ways you can really do this. So that's with the bipod. Now let's look at not using the bipod. Let's look at just using a bag, like we've looked at before. Okay, so the bag I was using before with the bipod was the Charlie Whiskey, and you know I love this bag. This is just a great bag. But if I wasn't going to use a bipod, then I would probably go back to what? Well, a good old fortune cookie. Now I've waxed this thing so it's pretty sticky, which is what I like. So then what we would do is no bag, come up, right? Hands and knees. Now we're just going back to what we know. I've got my knee up, I've got my bag supporting me. I'm here, 1, I'm here, 2, I'm here, 3, right? I'm not worried about a bipod. I'm not worried about adjusting anything, right? Let's see how this looks from the front of the car. Back at the front of the car, bag, gun, kneeling. Now here, I may say, look, I do like the fact that I can get a little higher here, right? So then we can be comfortable in our kneeling position, and we're right down on the target, shoot, shoot, and shoot. Perfect position, right? I can actually almost rest my elbow on my knee, and now we found that perfect height. If you haven't taken anything from what we've looked at today, take this away from it. Find that perfect height for you. Find that perfect kneeling position, and you will know the height. You can look at something and go, I think I want to go there, right? Because if I go here, I may have to be on my knees, all on my knees. I like my kneeling position because right from here, shoot, I'm up, right? I'm up and I'm on to the next thing. Now, if I did the hood of or the roof of the car, same thing, right? Gun pointed at the target. I'm loading the bag. I'm on it. Shoot. Shoot. And we're good. So let's try some shots from here. Let's do 3 from the front and we'll do 3 from the back. I'm not going to hurry because I have to catch my brass or else it flies into the car, and you don't want to reach into this thing. It's pretty nasty. So let me get some mags and we'll shoot 3 and 3. So what we're going to do is let's go just with the bag. And so I'm going to set the bag down here. I'm down. I'm on the target. Getting ready. Impact. 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 So there's 3 shots from the hood. Bolt is back, mag is out. And let's go ahead and move to the trunk. We'll see how we do back there at 500 yards. So here we are, we transitioned to the trunk. The gun is aiming at the target. I'm down on my knees. I'm on the target already. Loaded, and here we go. Impact. 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 So again, not bad, 6 out of 6, I'll take that. And again, that was only 500 yards, so it wasn't like it was way down there, but very good. And I have to tell you, I like just the bag off of the car. You do have options, just like we did at the tires and everything else. Remember, like the stone, the rocks, when we said, or we will say, depending on the order I put all this in, that you could use your bipod or not. I don't know why I like calling it a tripod. I just do. But the thing about the bag is it's just less for you to worry about. Less to worry about. Plus, I'm in my position on my knees. I didn't have to worry about adjusting legs and canting and all that stuff. So I really like just the bag for the car. All right, let's move on. Okay, so here we are at the tank trap. And if you think of World War II, when they stormed the beaches at Normandy, they had tank traps. Now, they were made of metal, and they were probably about 3 times the size of this, but this is what we shoot off of. Generally, what the stage will be is you have to shoot off three distinct pieces of the tank trap. So it's usually, you're going to use a point, you're going to use here, you're going to dip, you're going to use this dip, and you're going to use this point. If it's 3, if it's 4, if it's 3, maybe just the 2 dips and this 1 point. So if you look at this, what are you thinking? Well, you're thinking, I want to be able to get into that kneeling position of mine and shoot this thing, right? So let's get a closer look so we can talk a little bit more about this and which bag we might want to use. So let's look here. If I come here, if I use my big fortune cookie, hey, it's good. It grabs a little bit there. Now I'm going to take the bipod off when I shoot. But I'm going to tell you right now what happens is this fortune cookie is tall. Remember, we've talked about that, how tall this is. It's not stable. It doesn't really grab that point, right? Plus, when I get down into my position, I'm kind of way up here trying to see into it, right? And I don't want to do this. I don't like kneeling way down like that on this. So, and you see how it's already kind of falling off of there. So I like to use, again, my go-to bag, which is the Whiskey Charlie. Now, you can either use it like this and load, or I can bring it like this and then load. And let me give you a side view of that. So you can see it's loading like this, but you have to really get that just almost perfect on that point, right? Because this gun has to be like on that point when you're doing that. Now when I come down, I'm still a bit high, but it's not too uncomfortable for me. I can still get into my shot. You see how much thinner the bag is. Then when I move to the next, let's go just take that off right now. Then the bag is going down into the crevice there. Set down on a knee, I'm throwing my leg around this post, and now I'm down onto the gun. Right, and I'm in. This little dip here gives you a little challenge, because the thing about it is this post can get in your way. So you may have to kind of come off to the right a little bit here. And now I'm really straddling this, but it's still a really comfortable position. And I'm into it, and there we go. So, and if I have to come to this one, this is taller. And I'm gonna have to stand and get down on the gun like this and shoot. So those are the basic positions there of the tank trap. Let's go ahead and shoot a couple and we'll see how we do. I'll just shoot, I don't know, maybe just this tip and these two valleys here. Okay, I have my bag open. Buzzer goes off. I make sure that's right above that point. I'm down on it. I'm on the target. Impact. Impact. I'm up. Bag's down. I'm down. Wrapping my leg around there. I'm on the target already. That was a miss. I think I got a little hurried on that. Impact. Right? Now I can stay down. Up. You have to watch your muzzle. You can't come up to here. It has to stay out here, and it has to stay within 45 degrees. So bring it down. I'm on target. That was an impact. Impact. Bolt is back, mag is out. So there you have it. So that's the tank trap. Again, I use the right bag for it that I think is the right bag, and it goes fairly smoothly. Well, hey, thanks for watching. I know it wasn't as short as you might have thought it would be, but then again, when I say it's a short video, it usually isn't. But I hope you got a little bit out of how I use these bags and how you might want to use these bags in competition, or just for target practice, for going up to the range and shooting and maybe getting some better impacts by stabilizing your gun and yourself using some bags. So hey, thanks everyone. Thanks again for watching. Please subscribe. I'd really appreciate it. And hit that like button if you don't mind. And we will see you next time. Until then, shoot straight.